So the research process, it's a kind of a steps in the research, right? So then uh, when we try to do the research, we have to follow some steps to complete the research. So then this is a process. Normally, it is referred as a research process. So then in the research process, first it starts with the problems. So then we will discuss these uh, aspects as the learning also after completing this session. You should be able to understand or you should be able to explain the different steps in the research process, starting with the problem identification steps and the approaches to the problem steps and research design steps and field work for data collection steps and data preparation analysis steps and the report preparation and presentation step. This is normally uh, followed by most of the researchers. So some researchers may have a different steps as well, but this is most of the researchers are following these steps. So that's why we want to discuss these steps here. The problem definition, right? So when we try to do the research, why we want to do research? Because we want to find a solution to the problem. So when researchers in their first step of their research initiatives, they try to define the research problem. So the logical starting point of the research, right? Logical starting point of the research. Now you can understand any research. If they want to start a research, first step is try to identify the problem or define the problem, right? So then here, trying to understand what marketing problem is being tackled, handled, right? So marketing problems are not the simple events because in marketing there are a lot of activities, lot of aspects as well. So the problem may be related to the different aspects of marketing. So they say the symptoms and causes of the problems are not as neatly presented. So that's why uh, when they try to do the marketing research, then they want to understand the complex of research problems. So then this stage is crucial or important because it creates a foundation or baseline for the entire research process. So when they try to define the problem, that is the base for the research. Now you can understand the base, right? So then if there is any base only, anything can be built upon the base. So the same thing here for the research as well. The problem definition is the base, right? Unlike a theoretical case studies, real world marketing problems are complex and multi-faceted. Complex problems and different phases. That's why multi-phase. Requiring careful examination, so investigation. So then marketers have to carefully examine or investigate the issues, right? The problem definition stage involves several initiatives, right? Problem definition stage involves several initiatives. There are different steps within that problem definition also. There are different steps also there within that. So within the problem definition, different steps. So then iterative work means again and again fine tuning the process, and again from that again another step they create and again they create. So like that is a kind of iterative, the repetitive process to clearly identify or articulate the problems. So which can be the different ways they can be understand the environmental context of the problem. So when they try to identify the marketing problem, first of all, they try to understand the environment. In which environment? You all know that a marketing environment is complex one. So then when they try to define the problem, first they try to understand the environmental context, in which context particular problem is there. So that's why they try to understand the environmental context of the problem. This includes examining the broader environment, right? Broader environment. So now you can understand the broader environment in the sense is a understanding environment in the including all the aspects. So that's why it can be referred as a broader environment, right? So in which the problem exists. So then they try to understand that it involves discussion with the decision maker. So then how they can examine the broader environmental context. So then they try to discuss with the decision makers. So then the decision makers of the marketing, right, can have some idea. So then they can give some outline and guideline which area they want to understand. So in-depth interviews also they can conduct relevant, right, experts, industry expert, and the analysis of existing data and literature. So then how they can understand the context. So that's interesting. Then sometimes in the context, they can discuss with the decision makers, and they can have some interviews with the relevant experts in the environment, and even there may be some data available. From the data, when they analyze the data, from the data, the pattern, they can understand, right? So the literature in the sense previously published works, so research, from that also they can understand the context of the problem. So then management decision problem. This refers, right? This refers uh, uh, so then they try to discuss with the different stakeholders. From that, then they can understand these things, and after that, then they try to conduct the in-depth interview with the industry experts. So when they try to discuss with they can give deeper insights. The research team conducts in-depth interviews with the industry expert. These experts might include market analysts, the competitors, and professionals with extensive experience in the relevant field, and then they can give some idea. And collection and analysis of published information. That's why, as I said, the literature. The research team collects and analyzes information from various sources, so including industry reports, from market trends, and competitor strategies. So this stage helps in identifying patterns, challenges, and opportunities in the broader marketing environment. Right. So then when they try to deal with this, right, uh, environmental context of the problem to understand it. First, normally starting with the environmental context of the problem, then they try to go for a management decision problem. So then, because environmental problem is a broader problem, management decision problem. So then, what type of decision they want to get or they want to take. So the market research problem is a real research problem, because then they try to find some answers to support the decision making, right? So then these iteration, that means starting from the environmental context, leading to the management decision problem, and that lead to the marketing research problem. So then this is a kind of a iteration between different stages. So then these stages refine the understanding of the problem, right? Refine the understanding of the problem and ensure that the research will address the right questions, right? Problem, and ensure that the research will address the right question. So because the research problem is when they try to define the problem, as we discussed, that is the base for the any research. From the research problem only, the researchers can create the research questions, right? So as examples, when we try to understand this in practical scenario, say for example, one company, right? So electronic company experience 15% decline in the sales over the past 6 months based on the data. Now you can understand from the data, they analyze the data, then they can understand there's a decline in uh, sales, right, over the past 6 years, right? So then a discussion with the decision makers, discussion with the decision makers, and their 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 concerns about increased competition, changing consumer preferences, and economic downturn. So then decision makers, when the particular right researcher discuss with the decision maker, the decision makers have some idea about the reasons for the decline in the sales over the past 6 years. One of the reason is increased competition. Another one is changing consumer preferences. Another one is the economic crisis or downturns. So now you can understand this can lead to the decline of sales over the past 6 years or 6 months. So then, as we discussed, another steps, interviews with the industry experts. Interview with industry experts suggest that the new competitors are offering more innovative products at lower prices. So then in the industry experts, they have more knowledge about what is happening in the industry. So then when they like to have an interview with the industry experts, and they suggest competitors are offering more innovative products at lower prices. Competitors are offering more innovative products at lower prices. So then what they can do, then analyze the market reports, right? As I said, the literature or data, right? Analyze of market reports indicate general shift towards more environmentally sustainable products. So then reports and publications suggest now the rents in the electronic market, especially consumers prefer the sustainable products. So that's why it shifts, the electronic markets shifts towards more environmentally sustainable, more environmentally sustainable. So then environmental context of the problem, they identify. So then they go for the particular company's decision problem. Then we to how can the electronic company regain its market share and stop the decline in scales? That is the problem for the management to take some decision how they can regain the market, because the market is losing, so they want to regain the market. So then their decision problem is how they can regain the losing the market and how they can stop the decline in sales, because over the past 6 months sales is declining. Now they want to stop the decline in sales. That is their decision problem. So the marketing research problem, what factors are contributing the decline in sales? What factors are contributing to the decline in sales, right? So then this is the real problem. They want to identify the factors which contribute to the decline in sales. So what are the consumer preferences regarding the electronic products? Another problem also they can identify what are the consumer preferences regarding the electronic products. Another one, how do competitors' products compare with particular companies' offerings in terms of features, price, and sustainability, right? So then now you can understand this is the problem identification definition. Define the problem, starting with the environmental context of the problem, then management decision problem, finally marketing research, right? So from this example, we can understand the problem definition stage is an essential starting point in marketing research, right? By thoroughly understanding the environmental context, clearly articulating the management decision problem, and refining the marketing research problem. So researchers can design and conduct studies that provide actionable insights, right? This iterative process ensures that the real issues are addressed, leading to more effective marketing strategies and decision, right? So that is the starting point. Uh, so far we have discussed about management decision problem, market research problem, and iterative discussions for the precision. So if you want to get a more understanding about, right? Uh, so we can deeply understand the management decision problem, right? Management decision problem. So the discussion and the important information gathered. So with that, they can decide what is the problem or what so that means how can the company, right, regain the increased market share, right, and how they can, right, stop the decline in sales according to the examples. So management decision problem, refinement of management decision problem also, then market research problem also we have discussed, and based on that refined management decision problem, the research team translated into specific market research problems. So then, what factors contribute to the decline in markets? Which strategies, innovation, or pricing, or marketing are most likely to be effective in addressing these factors? And then that iterative decision discussion for precision to get some accurate. The research problem is discussed with the decision makers to ensure precision and clarity. So there may be iterations to fine-tune the research problem based on the practical consideration and specific information. So then finalization of the market research problem. So the research problem is finalized as we discussed. From that, they can create the research questions. So the research problem is finalized, specifying the scope, objectives, and research questions. Right? It reflects a clear understanding of what needs to be investigated to inform decision making. Right? So then, as we discussed, what needs to be investigated to inform decision making. So then, second step is the development of an approach to the problem. So development of an approach to the problem involves identifying factors that go into influence the research design, right? Influence the research design. So then what are the factors which influence how they can design? So then that is the things they like to discuss here. So you see, a key element of this stage is involves a selection, adoption, and development of an appropriate theoretical frame, right? Theoretical framework, uh, that is the another important aspects when they try to design the research, right? When they try to consider some influencing aspects, considering the influencing aspects. So, so then that's why it's a critical steps or stage that one that connect the gap between the identifying the problem and executing the research design. Because already they the first steps uh, they define the problem from the environmental context of the problem, then that problem can lead to the management decision problems, then marketing research problems is on the management research problem, then they try to narrow down the marketing research problem. So then now they want to do a research. So in that case, how they can execute the research to address the problem. So see, these steps involves connecting a sound theoretical frames. Theoretical frameworks in the sense already published theories and other literature they are supporting. So the literature in the sense published work, right? Literature is the published work. That means research papers, textbooks, and other publications, research publications, right? So these steps involves connecting the sound theoretical frameworks and understanding the characteristic of the target audience. Target audience means when they try to do the research, uh, they try to consider some target audience in the research. These issues at hand, the context, there are some aspects they want to consider. So when we discuss these, some examples, so say for example, one company right to introduce some the drinks, cool drinks or beverages. So then that company want to launch a new health drink, right? Health thing aimed at millennials, right? So millennials means so the people who born during the millennial period, they need to understand the factors influencing millennials' beverage choice, right? Now they are millennials are almost 20 years like that, so the 2024. So then what are their preferences? So then the development of an theoretical point. So use the theory of planned behavior. So there is a theory already established by the scholars. That theory is considered as a theory of planned behavior, TPB. So to understand the factors influencing the individual, so then how they uh, behave. So there are factors which influence. So then that theory of planned behavior already suggested factors influencing the millennial, the factors influencing the individual. So then they try to adapt the theory to the particular research, right? So influencing millennials' health drink choices. Uh, Theory of planned behavior suggests that behavior is driven by attitudes, subjective norms, perceived control, or behavioral control. These are the components of the theory of planned behavior. So now the theoretical frameworks now normally you can understand already established theories. The researchers try to consider in their research design. So then they can get some components from the theory of planned behavior, such as attitude, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral controls are considered to be included in the particular research context of offering marketers to understand the uh, influencing factors on millennials' selection on health drink choices. So then now you can understand these underpinning theories or theoretical frameworks are important when we are designing any research, right? So then now target audience now you can understand particular according to the research, their target market is millennials. Millennials, as I said, who born during that millennium. So the particulars, those with a keen interest in the health wellness. So then they are more concise about their health condition, right? So then they are the target audience. So then here development to or development of an approach issues to elicit attitudes uh, towards health traits. What are the attitudes? Say, for example, according to the theory, they can identify the attitude towards health traits, taste, health benefits, brand reputations, right? So now you can understand uh, taste, health benefits, brand reputation, social influence, uh, the recommendation from friends, social media influence, and perceived ease of integrating health drink to their lifestyles, convenience, and affordability. These are the factors they try to consider in their research design, right? So the research will be conducted through survey, focus groups in urban areas where millennials have a high presence and are active on social media. So data analysis plans, they use statistical techniques to analyze survey data, right? Factor analysis to identify the key attitude factors, and thematic analysis for focus group discussion to identify common themes and insights. So now you can understand this. The example explain the development of an approach to the problem, right? Development of uh, approach to the problem. So that means starting with some theories and considering some factors and the target or designing the target audience, who are the target audience, who are the target group, who are the target market, where they are going to collect the data, and data collection methods, whether it's online or surveys or discussion, interviews or analysis method, whether it's a statistical analysis or qualitative thematical analysis like that. This is the development. So then that is very important. Development of an approach to the problem, right? So then we can stop here.